What's up, our Forge Master brethren? Welcome to Forge Master Metal Reviews, the place where you can get the most out of your metal musicians and fans alike. It's time for another top metal list, and this time we're covering the best metal albums of May that we missed because, you know, we can't listen to everything. We got Viking black metal, a ridiculously heavy and poppy prog surprise, and a doomy folky black metal record. Let's get into some more killer metal records from May.
Hey Forge Masters, my first pick today is Swedish psychedelic stoners Vokonis, who've released their fourth studio album Odyssey early in May on The Sign Records. I've been seeing a lot of love for this record online and throughout the metal community, and I can see why. There are a lot of really cool tracks on here that push a typically bland subgenre into more adventurous and, dare I say, progressive territory. There's something very Swedish about taking a tried and true subgenre and injecting some new life into it. And that is exactly what Vokonis has done here on Odyssey. You're gonna hear a lot of the tried and true stoner motifs on this record with some very cool flares that are sure to catch your attention. I really love the vocal diversity on this album. Personally, if I were gonna have to endure the shouty vocals for an entire record, I would have rated this much lower, but it's a nice treat to hear some fantastic clean singing and growling. Overall, I think most of the attention for Vokonis' Odyssey has been warranted. This isn't my favorite subgenre, and I'm really tired of the imitation shouty vocals. But Vokonis shows a lot of promise in taking an insipid subgenre and bringing it to new heights. Vokonis gets 4.20. Nice. Out of 5 blazing birdos. From the grave, a rusted throne, a silver throne.
Right at the top here, we have King of Asgard, Svartrviðr, meaning black wood in Swedish, released May 27th on Troll Music. Man, I am so glad that I just discovered this band with their 5th release, no less. These Swedes know how to write a killer dose of black metal that strikes an insanely intricate balance between grim and epic, brilliantly dark, and absolutely crushing. This album is a perfect example of a band that is inspired by many things in Norse mythology and the ability to create music that they clearly love themselves. King of Asgard absolutely show their appreciation for that classic Swedish metal rooted in their homeland's death metal DNA. This album was crafted with pure appreciation for the dark secrets of Viking lore, ancient rituals, and the stories of old. Upon every listen, I still can't get over their ability to merge Viking metal with black and death metal with complete ease. And as a gamer and someone who appreciates visual art, I love how this album feels visually as it unfolds. It feels like you're exploring Midgard or Hell, as the album even sounds like it's rooted in the timeless stories of the Nordic culture. From what I've heard of the band, this is a strong continuation of 2017's Tauder EP, and I'm pretty excited to dive into that one too. Definitely check this record out if you're into some Norse-inspired metal. You will not be disappointed. 4 out of 5 Hammers of Thor.
I want to thank Forge mate Joseph Rebus for putting this one in front of us. I was immediately intrigued by the album cover, and this was a really nice surprise, so thank you, Joseph. Wormlight's Nightmother is a melodic black metal release from Black Lion Records, a label that we think that is worthy of your attention. The performance on this record is outstanding. It really sounds like the record was fleshed out in person by the band members, with each musician bringing their own voice to the table. Each performance is raw, and you get a very unfiltered look at Wormlight's music. I really love the album art here by German artist Drowned Orange. She has created a vivid image with the Druida ceremony, completely done monochromatically in ink. It looks amazing, and I love the contrast between the artwork itself and the band logo and album title. Fantastic placement of everything on the front cover. Just a great job by the design team overall on this one. I'm not sure I would have kept all 9 songs on this album. Average song lengths are 5 minutes and above, and I think a genre like this is just better suited to the 35 to 45 minute total runtime. 54 minutes is a bit much. They could have trimmed some of the fat on this album and came out with something really special, with songs like Blood, Wine, and Spirits and Hounds of Aphrodite. Wormlight's Nightmother is a varied journey through modern Swedish melodic black metal. If you were a fan of last year's releases like Ages or Kvajan, you're going to want to get on this one. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Flight of Sleipnir, Eventide, released May 28th on Eisenwald. This band has been around for a long ass time, and I have to admit that this is my first run with the band. Don't hate me. Holy shit though, this album is absolutely fantastic. I grew up worshiping bands like Agalok, Woods of Ypres, and Yob, and this album feels like the best record that I needed at this exact moment in time. This time of year I spend a lot of times hiking trails, and this record is perfect for the occasion. Colorado-based quartet Flight of Sleipnir have crafted one of the most thought-provoking records that I've heard in a while, centered around psychedelic sounds, folk music, black metal, and doom, and even some Viking and Norse themes thrown in there. God damn, I was completely blown away by this record. One of the things that I loved about this album is how beautifully composed it was to allow the listener to just take it all in. There's a fantastic balance of chill and the dark themes throughout Eventide, and I loved every minute of it. Albums like Eventide get me excited about discovering bands like this older discography, so I'm excited to jump in. They're apparently 7 albums deep at this point, and with the vast darkness of this latest record, had me melodically spellbound. I cannot wait to dive in and discover more about their previous releases. This album has it all: melodic black metal, chill atmospheric moments, beautiful organic production. Easily an album of the year list contender for me. You have to check this one out. 4.5 out of 5, Wailing Crows.
Stormrulers Under the Burning Eclipse
Was released in May on Napalm Records. It is a cinematic journey through a post-apocalyptic wasteland ruled by an evil despot, searching for the souls left untouched by the ravages of the end of times. This hour-long debut album from this American duo is epic in proportion, with 19 songs in an hour-long runtime, as I said. This album feels more akin to a fantasy-based power metal band. And the more I dove into this band, the more I realized I wasn't exactly far off. Stormruler is really leaning into that fantasy aesthetic, and it's not what one typically expects from this sort of music. It's cool to hear black metal and see power metal. As far as the music goes, this is top-notch stuff. This duo brings a ton of experience to the table, and it really comes through in the songwriting. Everything about the guitars on this record is an homage to the traditional and thrash metal of the 80s, from the choice of tone to the riffs and solos. There are moments on this record where it really feels like you might be listening to an early Blind Guardian or Merciful Fate album. I love the classic inspiration on this record. I gotta give these guys some serious props. They went swinging for the fences, and they seem to have landed with something. It seems to have paid off. I'm gonna give Stormruler 4.1 out of 5
Riders of the Apocalypse.
Vola, Witness, released May 21st on Mascot Records, another band I've never heard of, and this album completely blew me away. I don't typically go for progressive metal records or bands, but when those bands nail it, I usually fall in love with those records at some point. What I love about this band is they blend a lot of my favorite songwriting techniques from pop music with their flavor of metal. With most progressive bands, in my opinion, they go for all technicality, but they forget to write one thing: great songs. Don't forget that shit. Vola completely nailed both of these things, incorporating extremely catchy vocal hooks and melodies with pop and electronica components to the songs, and it works insanely well. There's so much catchiness in the vocal hooks and keyboard melodies that I cannot stop spinning this record. This band is a massive breath of fresh air from all of the progressive metal bands out there nowadays that all sound the same. The near perfect balance of taking something so heavy and oppressive and making that exact genre something insanely catchy is a monumental achievement. I have a ton of admiration for Vola for carving out a significant piece of the metal landscape for themselves and making something truly unique here. Like I said before about the last band, I can't wait to dive further into this band's discography. If you love big hooks, huge riffs, and some pretty goddamn massive songwriting cred, you'll love Witness by Vola. 4.5 out of 5 White Voids.
Hey, Forge Masters, thank you so much. What were some of the albums that you missed in May? As always, we appreciate your viewership, your likes, your shares, your comments. You've helped us get to 2,000. Onward and upward, friends. Keep forging on. Take care.